Hello and welcome. Path to Success is part of the Bid Ready series by Empire State Development. The purpose for this presentation is to raise awareness around a business challenge commonly known as a cash flow trap or working capital gap, and how businesses may prepare to avoid or work around this toward their path to successful completion of a project. Business owners need capital for various reasons. They need cash to pay their employees, buy raw materials, as well as carry out a myriad of other functions to convert their efforts into revenues. Access to capital is one of the biggest challenges small business owners face as they look to grow their business. In fact, this specific problem is often cited as the number one issue for small businesses that are otherwise profitable and growing. This problem is known as the working capital gap or the cash flow trap. Does this picture sound familiar? A small contractor wins a lucrative contract on a mega project. The owner is wildly excited about the income this project will bring in and ways they can grow the business further. Successfully completing this project could lead to other large-scale projects. However, panic sets in immediately. How will I pay for the costs before I see a single dollar? Future revenue is not cash in the bank. The owner must bridge the gap between winning and getting paid. Let's break down the reality. To start a large project, the owner immediately needs cash for materials, inventory, equipment, and insurance. They must pay their employees every 2 weeks without fail. Larger project means additional payroll. Large contracts typically pay on net 30, net 60, or even net 90 terms. This means the business might finish the work today but not see a dime for 3 months or longer. There could also be unanticipated costs, such as needing larger bonding capacity or increases in insurance premiums. Small businesses often work on thin margins and small working capital. Working capital is the money you have after you deduct current liabilities from current assets. Simply put, this is the amount of money you have at disposal in the short term if you need that money for any reason. Negative cash flow occurs if your current outflow of cash exceeds intake, thus reducing the working capital. If working capital dips into negative, the owner must borrow, dispose assets, or in the worst case, declare bankruptcy. Even a successful business with a lucrative contract can fall into this trap. In order to avoid the trap, the business owner turns to some common sources of capital. They dip into their business reserves and personal savings. They borrow funds from friends and family. They borrow against their business assets or their properties. They may even start putting expenses on their credit cards. Unfortunately, small business owners are already often maxed out on many of these options. The business owner wants to turn to a local bank to stop the gap. Surely there must be banks willing to happily lend them money to fulfill the contract. Unfortunately, this is rarely the case. Banks lend against tangible assets. They rely on personal credit scores. Small business owners may already be maxed out on personal credit cards and have a less than ideal credit score. This mismatch often leads to small business owners being rejected. With borrowing inaccessible, the owner must turn to alternative sources of capital. For example, out of desperation, they turn to merchant cash advances with extreme interest rates. They may also try to sell invoices to a third party by paying a factoring fee. Without planning ahead, the business may face liquidity crisis. Rapid growth requires cash, but cash collection lags behind. A successful business can find itself in a trap or turn down the work altogether. A profitable business makes $50,000 consistently each month. The owner takes on a lucrative large contract. The contract sucks up cash by requiring upfront investment in retooling machinery and hiring additional skilled labor. The owner plugs the gap from their personal savings, thinking they'll get the return on investment on month 3, or at least by month 4. Alas, the project is delayed after month 4 with no end in sight. Now the profitable business is in crisis. Here is an example of a contractor who requires financing. A crisis is averted despite a delay because of financing. Unfortunately, such a scenario is all too common for small business owners. To help the business owners weather through the turbulence, Empire State Development offers several innovative solutions and services. For this presentation, we have grouped them under three buckets. A. Resources for business owners fulfilling a large contract. B. General capital for resiliency. And C. Expertise and preparation. Let's dive in. We will not go over every feature, so please feel free to press the pause button. The New York State Contractor Financing Program is designed for small business owners that have won a government contract but lack the upfront cash to get the work started or completed. Imagine a small, women-owned construction firm wins a $300,000 contract to install street lamps for a local municipality. They need $50,000 immediately to purchase supplies and pay their team for the first month before they can submit their first invoice to the city. The Contractor Financing Program provides a line of credit up to $500,000 to cover these costs. Are you interested in working on a government contract? Contact these lenders directly and ask about the New York State Contractor Financing Program. Next, we have the Capital Project Loan Fund. The key difference is that this program is geared toward businesses, primarily manufacturers, that are looking to grow by making a major, long-term investment in physical assets like real estate or heavy machinery. For example, a precision metal fabrication company is looking to purchase a new state-of-the-art machine that costs $800,000. This new machine will automate part of the process, increasing speed and efficiency. The business would acquire a letter of commitment for 50% of the cost, provide 10% of the equity, and up to 40% may be financed through the Capital Projects Loan Fund. To apply, you must contact Empire State Development directly. The third solution is a bit different than the previous two in that it is not a loan. The New York State Surety Bond Assistance Program helps contractors secure a bond required to work on large development projects, especially those involving public property. The small business owners may have the skills to do the job, but lack the financial history or credit strength to get the bonding. The surety may see the contract as untested and deny coverage. In a situation like this, the New York State Surety Bond Assistance Program provides a guarantee of up to 30% on a bond. This safety net convinces the surety to issue the bond, allowing the business owner to bid on and win their first major contract. What if my business is at a startup or early stages and the business is in need of startup costs, working capital, purchasing inventory, or other needs? Unlike other programs that focuses on government contracts or major property, the Main Street Capital Loan Fund essentially acts as seed money for smaller, newer businesses that banks often consider too risky. For example, a caterer has been working as a sole proprietor. They want to incorporate the business and hire an event planner. This is an example of a working capital need. Main Street Capital Loan Fund is perfect for this situation and allows the owner to bridge the gap as they grow the business. Another program that is really great for filling the gap is the New York State Small Business Revolving Loan Fund Round 2. This program is designed for new companies and small businesses who may not fit the strict box of a traditional bank or they are stuck in bad debt. Unlike Main Street, this program allows refinancing of existing debt under specific conditions, for example, resulting in a 30% reduction in APR. Unlike the previously mentioned loan products, the linked deposit program is focused on lowering the interest rate on bank loans. The state deposits money into your bank at a lower interest rate, and in exchange, the bank lowers the interest rate on your business loan by the same amount, which is typically 2 to 3%. This program helps businesses save money by lowering the interest rate. To recap, here is a summary of all 6 ESD programs. Let's do a lightning round of which program fits the needs best. I just started my business last year. Main Street Capital Fund. I have bad debt eating up my profits. SBRLF 2. I just won a huge contract, but I can't pay my crew. Contractor financing. I can't bid on a new project because my bonding application was rejected. The New York State Surety Bond Assistance Program. I want to buy the building I am currently renting. Capital Project Loan Fund. The fine prints and the paperwork can be daunting and challenging. The state offers free technical assistance in the areas of legal, accounting, and finance for very small businesses and businesses owned by socially and economically disadvantaged individuals to get the expert help they need. Do you need to organize your books to run your financial statements? Do you need someone to look over a contract? Do you need help with financial planning? Reach out to one of these providers and they'd be happy to connect you with one-on-one assistance. Let's review and do a final readiness check. Small businesses, even profitable and successful enterprises, can easily fall into a devastating issue called the cash flow trap. The business owner must bridge the gap between winning the big contract to getting the job and to finally getting paid. Without careful planning, the business may face a significant headwind in their pathway to success. Planning ahead is the best way to avoid this trap. Please schedule a meeting with a business advisor. Seek free technical assistance available through Empire State Development. Don't delay until you land the job. Working capital gap is the single biggest barrier to wealth creation for small businesses. We can solve this puzzle together and unlock massive economic potential.